Hello friends, welcome back to Learn with Biju. In today's Python programming session, I will be covering Python data types. If you haven't seen the previous sessions, the links are added in the description. Please watch before continuing. So let's start asking what is a data type and why it is relevant for a programmer. Data types are the classification or categorization of data items. Repeat, data types are the classification or categorization of data items. It represents the kind of value that tells what operations can be performed on a particular data. Data types represent the kind of value that tells me or you what operations can be performed on a particular data. So if I understand the data type is integer, if the data type is a float, then I can think that okay, I can add, I can subtract, I can divide on this data type. If I understand that this data type is a string, I can apply substring, I can apply concatenate. So data type represents the kind of value that tells what operations can be performed on a particular data. So majorly there are five types of data types in Python: numeric data type, sequence data type, Boolean data type, set data type, dictionary data type. Repeat: numeric, sequence, Boolean, set, and dictionary. Since everything is an object in Python programming, data types are actually classes and variables are instances of these classes. Did you understand? Okay, let's start with numeric data type. In Python, numeric data type represents the data which has a numeric value. What is the numeric value? 1, 2, 1.5, 10, 10.5. So they are numeric values, right? Where you can apply numeric operators. The numeric value can be integer, floating number, or even complex numbers. Numeric values can be integer, floating number, or even complex numbers. These values are defined as int, float, and complex class in Python. So I already mentioned that the data types are classes and variables are instances of that class. In that case, numeric data types are defined as int, float, and complex class. Integers are represented by int class. So it contains positive or negative whole numbers without fraction or decimal. Remember, there is no fraction, no decimal for integers. In Python, there is no limit to how long an integer value can be. There is no limit to how long an integer value can be. So any value, any length can accommodate in a integers. Understood? Then float. This value is represented by float class. It is a real number with floating point representation. This value is represented by float class. It is a real number with floating point representation. It is specified by a decimal point. Optionally, the character small letter e or capital E followed by a positive or negative integer may be appended to specify scientific notation. So floating number can also be represented as scientific notation using small letter e or capital letter E followed by a positive or negative integer number. Then finally, what is the complex numbers? The complex numbers is represented by complex class. It is specified as a real part plus imaginary part, then j. For example, 2 plus 3j is a complex number. So it has a real part and it has an imaginary part. The function type is used to determine the type of a data type. How do I know this variable is of what type? Then we have to use the function type. Now I am going to demonstrate to you numeric data type in action. I have my Jupyter notebook open and I have a integer variable, I have a float variable, and I have a complex variable. So here A is an integer, B is a float, and C is a complex number. Let me print the type of A, B, C. So it says type of A is class int, type of B is class float, type of C is class complex. So how to declare an integer variable, how to declare a float variable, how to declare a complex variable, and how to print them, how to know the type of those variables. Now let's also show you the limit of a integer value. I can make it a bigger number. Will it give me an exception? Let me try. No. If I make it some more bigger, will this going to be an exception? No. Let's go with the sequence type now. In Python, sequence is the ordered collection of similar or different data types. We already know what is a data type. Now we look into sequence type. The sequence is ordered collection. It is an ordered collection of similar or different data types. If it is similar means all items will be of same type. If it's a different data types, the items could be of different data types. Could be number, could be integer, could be float, could be string, could be char. So sequence allows to store multiple values in an organized and efficient fashion. How sequence is helping us? Sequence allows us to store multiple values in an organized and efficient fashion. Can you name me a few sequence type in Python? Yes, string, list, tuple. So there are several sequence type in Python. Some of them are string, list, and tuple. Let's look into string. In Python, strings are arrays of bytes representing Unicode characters. What is string in Python? First definition is strings are arrays of bytes representing Unicode characters. Second, a string is a collection of one or more characters put in a single quote, double quote, or triple quote. It's very important. A string is a collection of one or more characters put in a single quote, double quote, or triple quote. Thirdly, in Python, there is no char data type. A character is a string of length 1. What is a character in Python? A character is a string of length 1. Finally, a string is represented by str class. A string is represented by str class. Now we are going to see how string variables are declared in Python program. Okay, I am again back to my Jupyter nodes. I have some code for you. I am declaring a variable with a single quotes. I am declaring a string variable with a double quotes. I am declaring a string variable with a triple quote, and I am also declaring a string variable with a multiple lines with the triple quotes. Okay. So string one, welcome to the student's world. Welcome to the student's world. So I am printing single string with the use of single quotes. Then I am printing the variable string. Second example, I am creating a string with double quotes. String 1, variable string 1 equal to I am a student. Then I'm just printing the title string with the use of double quotes. And I am printing string 1. I am also printing the type of string 1. And third example, I am showing how to declare a variable with the triple quotes. I am a student and I live in the world of students. And I am just printing string 1 again, and I am showing the type of string 1. And finally, this this is where I am creating a string which allows multiple lines, student for life. Okay, let me try to execute this code. See, string with the use of single quotes, that's welcome to the student's world. Then string with the use of double quotes, I am a student and the class is class str. String with the use of triple quotes, I am a student and live in the world of students, class str. Then creating a multi-line string student for life. So what is the summary? So we can declare a variable of string with single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes, and even we can create a variable of string in multiple lines using triple quotes. Now let's see how to access the characters from a string. I have string 1. It is God's own country. I want to see. I have to print the initial string variable, that is God's own country. Then I want to print the first character of the string. What is the first character of the string? Then I am using string 1 of 0. Then what is the last character of the string? I am printing string 1 minus 1. So let's see what is the output of this program. God's own country is the initial string. First character of the string is G. The last character of string is Y. So in Python, individual characters of a string can be accessed by using the method of indexing. So here we are using the method of indexing. So we are mentioning the index. 0 means first, minus 1 means the last. So indexing allows negative address reference to the access characters from the back of the string. Example minus 1, then minus 2 refers to the second last character and so on. So if I want to see the minus 2, which is again the R, right? So let me execute it again. So this is R. So by using the index, we can get any character from any location. Understood? So we now created a string and now we are able to access the elements of the string using the index method. Next, let's look into list. So lists are just like the arrays declared in other languages, which is an ordered collection of data. It is very flexible as an item in the list do not need to be the same type. You may be asked, do all the items in a list need to be the same type? Answer is no. Items in the list can be different types. Then how to access the elements of list? In order to access the list item, refer to the index number. Use the index operator to access an item in a list. Use the index operator to access an item in a list. In Python, negative sequence indexes represent position from the end of the array and positive index represented position from the start of the array. Instead of having to compute the offset as in list length list minus 3, it is enough to just write list minus 3. Negative indexing means beginning from the end. Minus 1 refers to the last item, minus 2 refers to the second last item, etc. So what does it mean? We don't need to take in the length of the list and subtract 3 to get the third last item character in the list. Third last item in the list. Instead, you just say list minus 3, which will give you the third last item in the list. So let's see the practical scenario. Yes, I am again in my Jupyter notebook. Let's see how to create a list. List in Python can be created by just placing the sequence inside the square bracket. So how can I create a list in Python? It's just by placing a sequence inside a square bracket. Let's see a few examples. So we can create an empty list. Creating a list, empty list, a list variable name equal to square bracket. So it will be an empty list. The next, we can just use a string to create a list with the use of string. So it is just by assigning a string value to a variable becomes a list. Then we can also create a list with the use of multiple values. If I want to say gods on country, gods on country, right? We are using multiple values, and I can print first value, second value, third value. We can also create a multi-dimensional list by nesting a list inside a list. So God zone is a list, then country is another list. It becomes a multi-dimensional list. Let me execute this. So initial blank list. So no items. The list with the use of string is a God's own country. How are you printing that? It is just printing the list without any index. The third one is list containing multiple values. That is God's own country. But I printed 0 and 2. I printed the first one and the last one. So if I put again, if I put print number 1, it will print all three values, right? Let me run this. Initial blank list with the use of string, list containing multiple values. It prints God's own country. So it prints all the three values. In multiple dimensional list, God's own country. So how are you printing the multi? It's just printing the list. It will give you both list values like God's own and country. Understood? So how to create a list? How can I create a blank list? How can I create list with string? How can I create list with values? How can I create a multi-dimensional list? So these are the three examples that helps you to understand the list. So if I want to access elements from a list, okay, so creating a list with multiple values, okay, I am again creating a list with God's own country. Then I can access element from the list like 0 2, that means it will come gods and country. To on print on, so if I want to print on, I should mention index 1. Then accessing an element using negative index. So what is to get the last one, that means which is the last one, country, I can say -1. If I want to see the last third from the last, then I can say -3. Okay, let me run this. So accessing elements from the list, gods and country. So what is that? I am printing the first and the last. Second one, I am printing accessing elements using the negative index. Okay, the negative was -1 and -3. -1 was country and 3 was gods, right? So I have the country and I have the gods. So in this example, I have seen how to create a list, how to access the values from a list. Hope you understand that. Yes, we have seen lists, right? What is a list, how to create list, how to access the elements of a list, and how to use index operator, and what is the meaning of negative index and what is the meaning of positive index. Next, we are going to look in something called tuple. Just like a list, tuple is also an ordered collection of Python objects. The only difference between a tuple and a list is that tuple are immutable. That is, tuple cannot be modified after it is created. It is represented by tuple class. So it is very important to understand what's the difference between a tuple and a list. Tuple is immutable. Once you have created a tuple, you cannot modify it. That is the key point. Remember, tuple is immutable. Creating tuple. In Python, tuples are created by placing a sequence of values separated by comma, with or without the use of parentheses for grouping of the data sequence. Tuples can contain any number of elements and of any data type like string, integers, list, etc. So remember that tuples are created by placing a sequence of values separated by comma with or without the use of parentheses for grouping of the data sequence. Just note that tuple can also be created with a single element, but it is a bit tricky. Having one element in the parenthesis is not sufficient. There must be a trailing comma to make it a tuple. So if you want to create a tuple with a single element, you have to add a trailing comma to make it a tuple. Then how to access the elements of tuple? In order to access the tuple items, refer to the index number. Use the index operator to access an item in the tuple. The index must be integer. Nested tuple are accessed under nested indexing. So in the list, you are able to use the negative index, but in tuple, you can't do that. And if there is a nested tuple, you have to access nested index. Let's see this in action. First, I am creating an empty tuple. Then I am creating a tuple with the use of string. Then I am creating a tuple with the use of list. Then I am creating a tuple with the use of built-in function. Then I am creating a tuple with the nested tuples. Okay, let's see how it is. So tuple 1, we are equal to parenthesis, that is opening and closing bracket. It is an empty tuple. The variable name is tuple 1. Then if you are creating a tuple with a string, so tuple 1 country comma 4. I'm just mentioning the country is for something. So the tuple has two strings, country and 4. Then I am using a tuple with use of list. One list, first we are creating a list. Okay. Then list will contain 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So data type is integer. Then I can cast the list into a tuple, the tuple of list 1. Okay, so you create a tuple using a list, you create a tuple using a string, and you create a tuple, empty tuple with a opening and closing bracket. Okay, so next one is creating a tuple with the use of built-in function. So tuple 1 equal to tuple of country. So this is a built-in function to create a tuple. So what is the parameter? We are passing a string value, the tuple with the use of function. Then we can also create a nested tuple. First we have to create first tuple, that is a tuple 0, 1, 2, 3. Then tuple 2 Python, then comma student. Then I am creating a tuple 3, tuple 1 and tuple 2 in opening and closing bracket. Then how then we can print that nested tuple using print tuple 3. So let's actually print this command. So after printing, I am seeing initial tuple. Okay, I am getting an initial tuple. Then I am tuple with the use of string. So this has become a tuple. Okay, country comma 4. Then I have created a tuple using a list. Tuple 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Then tuple with the use of function. So how is that? I use tuple function sending the parameter country. So it has converted the country into a tuple. COUNTRY, country. So this has become a tuple. Then this is the nested tuple. I have a tuple 0, 1, 2, 3. Then I have another tuple Python comma student. So this is a nested tuple. Okay. So you understood how to create tuples and how to print tuple. Okay, yes, it is very important to understand how to access values in a tuple, how to access values from a tuple. Or so to access values in a tuple, use the square brackets for slicing along with the index or indices to obtain value available at that index. For example, I have two tuples, tuple 1 physics chemistry 1997 2000. I have tuple 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I want to print the index, the value from index 0, and I want to print values from index 1 to 5. Okay, it's a sequence, right? So let me run this command. I am getting tuple 1 index 0 is physics, tuple 2 1 to 5 is 2 3 4 5. Okay, so I hope you understand how to access values from tuple from this example. Data type with one of the two built-in values, true or false, that is boolean. The boolean objects that are equal to true are true, and those equal to false are false. But non-boolean objects can be evaluated in boolean context as well and determined to be true or false. So boolean data type is denoted by the class bool. So remember that true and false with capital T and F are valid booleans, otherwise Python will throw an error. Let's see this in practical. I am back to my Jupyter notebook. I have two variables declared, A and B. A is 200, B is 33. I'm just checking if B greater than A, that is 33 greater than 200, then it will say B is greater than A. It is, if not, then it will print B is not greater than A. Okay, let's see. So this condition returns a boolean value, right? So let's execute and see. B is not greater than A. Say greater than, equal to, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. All these conditions will return either true or false in this case. Okay. So this is a boolean data type in Python. Next one is set. In Python, set is an unordered collection of data type that is iterable, mutable, and has no duplicate elements. The order of elements in a set is undefined, though it may consist of various elements. So it's very important to understand what is a set. No, set is an unordered collection. So far we have said about list. We in list what is a tuple, and they are all ordered collection. But set is an unordered collection. The order of elements in a set is undefined, though it may consist of various elements. So how to create a set? Set can be created by using the built-in set function with an iterable object or a sequence by placing the sequence inside curly braces separated by comma. Types of elements in a set needs not be same. Various mixed up data type values can also be passed to a set. So in the set, the types need not be same, it can be mixed up. Then accessing element of a set item cannot be accessed by referring to an index. Very important. Set items cannot be accessed by referring to an index. Since sets are unordered, the items has no index. But I can loop through the set items using a for loop. So we can create a set using the set function, right? Set equal to set. It is an empty set. We can create a set with the use of a string. I can use the set function and pass a string variable. I am passing God's own country. Then create a set with the use of list. I have a list of God's own country with 3 values. and I am again using the inbuilt function set for that. Okay. Then finally I am using a mixed type of values having numbers and string. Then I can say set 1, 2 gods for on 6 country. So it's a mixed type of data and I am creating a set using the inbuilt function. So let's see how the set is printed. First one is a blank set. Second one is a, see, using the set function, actually it is has created a new set. And thing is, the items are not ordered. It is no more a God's own country. It is something. It's an unordered list, right? Unordered collection. And I cannot access this with an index. Then set with the use of list. Actually, what did I pass? My pass was God's own country, but what has come in the set? Own country gods. Okay, so this is no more an ordered collection. It's an unordered collection. And set with the use of mixed values 1 2 3 1 2 4 6 God's own country. See, this has not even come in the order which I have passed to the set function. In summary, sets are unordered collection which we can't retrieve using an index. Okay, so let's see how to retrieve data from a set. I have another program here. See, I have created a new set one God's own country. I have passed. Then it will print like in an unordered manner. Then I am using a for loop and I equal to set one. I am printing in the order which comes in the set. Then I am also checking if gods is available in the set. Okay, let me run this. See, in initial set is own country god, but actually I have ended god's own country. So it is printing using a loop and it is printing in an unordered fashion. Second one is I am just checking if gods is available in the set and it is giving true, right? It is giving true. Okay, so now we have seen how to create a set and how to access the elements of set. Here there is, I cannot use an index, I can use a for loop and I can use a inquiry to ask if any of the item is existing in the set. Dictionary in Python is an unordered collection of data values used to store data values like a map, which unlike other data type that hold only single value as an element. So dictionary holds key value pair. Key value is provided in the dictionary to make it more optimized. Each key value pair in a dictionary is separated by a colon, whereas each key is separated by a comma. So how to create a dictionary? A dictionary can be created by placing a sequence of elements within a curly braces, separated by comma. Values in a dictionary can be of any data type and can be duplicated, whereas keys cannot be repeated and must be immutable. Dictionary can also be created by the built-in function dict, dict, and an empty dictionary can be created by just placing it to the curly braces. So how to access a dictionary element? In order to access the items of a dictionary, refer to the key name. Key can be used inside square brackets. There's also a method called get that will also help in accessing the element from a dictionary. So we know what is a dictionary, we know how to create dictionary, and we know how to access elements of a dictionary. So let's see this in action. So here is a function. I am creating a dictionary. As I said, a dictionary, we can simply place a curly brace and it will create an empty dictionary. And creating a dictionary with the integer keys. So I said it's a key value pair, right? So key is 1, then I have the colon, then the value is gods, then comma separated. So key value, key value, key value. 2 is on, 3 is country. Then we can create a dictionary with the mixed keys. Dictionary, then curly brace, then name. Is a name need not be like integer always. It can be a string and value gods. Then I have a integer key. Then I have a value as a list. Then creating a dictionary with the dict method, that is a function. So I can create a dictionary using the dict method where I am passing values in the curly braces 1 colon gods, 2 colon on, 3 colon country. So this is another way of creating the dictionary. Then I have creating a dictionary with each item as a pair. I can say dictionary equal to dict. Then I can say this is a as a pair, each item as a pair, 1 comma gods, 2 comma on. So this is again another way of creating a dictionary. So let me run this. So there is an empty dictionary. Then we have a dictionary with the use of integer keys. Key 1 gods, 2 on, 3 country. Then dictionary with the use of mixed keys, name, gods. Then 1 value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then dictionary with the use of dict. That's 1 gods, 2 on, 3 country. Then dictionary with the each item as a pair. Then 1 key is 1, value is god, key is 2, value is on. Then next symbol, how to access the value from a dictionary. So I am creating a dictionary with key value pair. Key is 1, name is another key, then 3 is another key. Values are gods on country. Okay. Then how can I access the value? I can say dictionary of name. That is a key. Then dictionary of get index 3. Okay, these are the two ways we can access the value either using the key or either using the get method. So let me run this. So accessing an element using the key on, accessing the element using get, that is a country. I have a dictionary, I can use uh, the element using key, or I can use the get method also, get function also. So now we have seen how to create a dictionary and how to access the value from a dictionary. Thank you for watching this video. Before concluding, let us summarize. We have seen different data types in Python. We focused on numeric data type, sequence data type, set data type, Boolean data type, and finally we, we have seen the dictionary data type. Hope this video was helpful. Please don't forget to add your comments in the comment section. If you like this session, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.